recording on, I'm just recording on the Riverside right now. Alright, cool. That means we're good to go. So let me just start sharing my screen so that you guys can see. I haven't made any changes since yesterday. So if you guys didn't see our trade yesterday, you kind of get to see it now. Yeah, so we took shorts. We obviously hit SL. And if you guys want to know how and why we entered shorts on Nasdaq, the video should be live after this stream. So after the stream, the video will be live so that you guys can watch back. I think I do recommend you guys to watch the videos back, especially if you're trading the strategy and you're following. It's good to go back and see, okay, so if Jamie took a loss, why did he take a loss? What was his reasoning for entering, his reasoning for his positions? And then same thing with wins, right? So you guys can kind of learn off the trades that I take, and I'm sure that will benefit you guys. Select win all over for Philippines, Vietnam. In Philippines, it was Manila, Panglao, and El Nido. Crazy. What was the best place, Flick? Like, out of all those three places, what would you say like you could spend like a month at? Alright guys, so just gonna clean up the chart a little bit. Our golden zones we can take out. Last week 2.618 we keep. Yes, 1.618. We can see, what would you say yesterday's trade was an A+ setup? No. The reasons for entering were pretty decent in terms of confluences, but because of the mixture of bias, it definitely wasn't an A+ setup. To be honest, Danny, so the thing is, the whole imbalance from Monday open kind of set me off with this week, because prior to, if you're looking at the week before, Nasdaq should have been bearish, right? But obviously because of the United States and Chinese trade updates, stocks opened up higher. So because it opened up higher, it invalidated last week's bearish momentum. And then what threw me off even more yesterday was price playing below yesterday. Not yesterday, it was Wednesday's low. So because we played below yesterday's low, I was assuming that we would continue reaching further down, at least to this fair value gap, which we didn't. So yeah, short answer, no, it wasn't an A+ setup. Philippines is sick. You'd want to go instead. Go to an island state called Siargao. It's known as the new Bali, but less busting with tourists. That's nice, bro. And Palawan. That's what someone said. Someone said Palawan yesterday. And El Nido are hot for living for a longer time. That's it, bro. Definitely not Manila. Bohol, Panglao is probably one of the best places I've been in East Asia. Shot, guys. I'll give it a look-see. Is the water like as blue as it like looks online? Because I know it's dependent on like the weather and stuff, but like that's one of the main reasons why I want to go, to be honest. Alright guys, so just to have a clear look at the chart, right? We're just gonna remove our drawings. Then let's just see how the day actually resulted, right? So if you see like this day here, right, being yesterday, like this threw me off completely, right? Because we tapped in lower than the previous day low of this candle, but it closed bullish, right? It closed bullish. Will price continue going bullish? We need to see. Right, we need to see. So once we do our analysis, we can determine exactly what kind of trade we can get. But looking at price so far, especially for this week, like this week has been extremely bullish. Let's look over here. Like, look at that, guys. That's crazy. For like a 1 week, just like straight bull. That's absolutely nuts. And this is the candle that I was talking about, right? It could have been a nice setup for evening star Japanese candlestick. So that's why before the week closed, before this week opened, my bias was short. Right, my bias was short purely because of the how the last week's candle closed. I believe we had a doggy for yesterday. Are we thinking bearish? I believe we had a doggy for yesterday. Are we thinking bearish? So yeah, we'll see exactly what our bias is after we do our analysis. The water is crazy now, to be honest. The best part about it was renting a scooter. Oh yeah, that's sick, bro. Even in Thailand, renting scooters are so fun. So just because of how the day closed, right, and how the week's been popping off, let's maintain bullish. All right, let's maintain bullish, but we can see some form of like a new form of support over here, just looking at these 3 days. But let's look at our yes high, yes low, and what kind of golden zones we're looking at. Okay, so let's just remove Tuesday low, Tuesday high, Tuesday 50% we can remove as well, but we'll keep that fair value gap. Yes, 1.6, yes, 1.618 we remove, and this one as well, but we can see price rejected over here quite nicely. Rejected quite nicely, came back to the 2.618 and as well as the 50-day moving average. But for now, let's remove this as well. Okay. 5-minute trend, remove. This 15-minute trend we probably won't be using. 1 hour trend we'll keep. This 15-minute trend, let's remove. Alright, so a little bit of a cleaner chart, right, guys? A little bit of a cleaner chart. Now, today is Friday. Okay, so we look at Thursday's price movement. Okay, so Thursday over here, we have Thursday's high. This was yesterday's high. And Thursday's low over here. Alright, so quite a nice daily range that we have. Now remember, we closed bullish, alright, and this day really kicked off bullish as well. So what we do is we take our fib levels, okay, top to bottom. Alright, we identify a golden zone. So this is our golden zone, and looking at our golden zone, alright, it's nicely aligned with a 50-day moving average as well as that 1 hour trend. Alright, so we have our golden zone over here on the 1 hour time frame. And again, we're not done, right, guys? We're not done. We need to also identify our 1.618. So if price does break above the yes high, all right, we know where we could aim for price to continue going. All right, so that's the Fibonacci levels for Thursday. Now remember, because our bias is bullish, because of how this week's been playing out, and also because of how yesterday closed, right? When we draw our fib, we draw it from the top to the bottom. If we are bearish, we'll draw our fib from the bottom to the top. All right, so that's on the 1 hour time frame. Now let's just look at exactly all of this stuff cooking over here, right? We still have this 1 hour trend, and what is this over here? This was a 4 hour trend. All right, so we have a 4 hour trend and a 1 hour trend sitting over here. We'll keep those for now. Let's also drag this imbalance here. We'll probably continue having that imbalance for next week. You know, it's really impossible that price is going to sink from 21,378 to fill this imbalance, right? Especially today. In the next couple of weeks, maybe, but for today, I highly doubt it. All right, so we're done with that 1 hour time frame. Now what we do, we look at the 15-minute and we try to identify some form of trend. All right, we try to identify some form of trend. right now, price, this is a 1 hour trend line that we've identified. Price is still playing above that, which is nice to see. Okay. But not only that, we can also identify a couple trends here. All right. So just looking at this, something like that, that's a 15-minute trend. 15-minute trend, and then let's look at this guy. So once upon rejection, all right, so and not only that, we also have a couple fair value gaps over here, right guys? We have a couple fair value gaps. Just looking at this 15-minute candle, let's look at these 15-minute candles quick. So remember, whenever we consider a fair value gap, right, this got filled, this little cheeky guy over here didn't get a fill, and this cheeky guy over here, we didn't get a fill. All right, so we have a fair value gap as well from, let's just double check, what points was it? Yeah, that's exactly it. Right, as well as here. All right, so we can see these are the kind of setups again that are very, very nice prior to entry, right? Because we have a lot of confluence in a specific zone. We have a lot of things happening over here. All right, this is essentially our key zone. Now, what is happening? Okay, we have a 15-minute trend. We have 50-day moving average. We have last week's 2.618 zone, which has been shown to hold a lot of resistance for Nasdaq lately, right? It did break up, didn't necessarily retest. We have a fair value gap. We have our golden zone, and we also have a 1 hour trend. All right, that's a lot of confluence happening in one space. Okay, a lot of confluence happening in one space. So just looking at this, what I would like for us to do, and possibly look for a trade would be something like this, okay? Within this area of interest, but let's just say this area here, that would be the main first trade. All right, so that'd be the first TP. All right, entering at about 21,324. The main first TP would be 21,455, and then secondly, this. All right, so that's the kind of setup that we're looking for today, which looks quite promising. It looks really, really nice, obviously, based off our confluences that we have. All right, so that's the trade setup for NAS. We could potentially also, I don't know if we're doing too much right here with this. Could possibly, let's just keep this on for as well, okay? Let's just keep this as well, just in case once we start trading, if we see price rejecting over here, it could also be that 15-minute trend. All right, so do you guys, all 42 of you guys, right? Do you guys understand how we got this analysis so far and why our bias is this? All right, does it make sense to you guys? Last 15-minute trend line, the one that we recently drew. Fair value gap again, please. Oh, the descending one. Can you please explain the TP at 1.618 again? What are your fib level settings, please? Okay, let's go. Yes, there are many confluences supporting your bias. Okay, so Tom, last 15-minute trend line, do you mean the recent one that we drew? Does the recent one not make sense to you, right? Okay, yep, the top one. So, just like how we have a 1 hour trend over here, and then also now an updated 15-minute trend, right? So in the bigger time frame, price is obviously respecting a certain form of trend, price movement. But in the smaller time frame, there's typically new trends, right, descending and ascending. Okay, so the trend that matters is trends from a higher time frame. Okay, so that would be the 1 hour, this one over here. But we can't completely cancel out trends forming on a smaller time frame, right? So in this 15-minute trend, the reason why we and I know you mentioned the one on the top, right? But I'm just trying to patch everything together for you. So the one at the bottom, the reason why we established that one too is because that's how price has been playing. Price has been playing respecting this trend, right? And it could respect it for a third time, this third touch here, which could assist us with getting an entry, right? So essentially adding confluence to our setup. Okay, so same thing with here, and same thing with here. So the reason why I drew a trend on the top here too is because although our first initial trend was this, all right, we can see that here when price had this peak, all right, price rejected, broke out, retested, now broke back, and now retested again, right? So that trend is actually playing out quite nicely, all right? But the thing is, when you draw your trends, you don't an abundance of trends, right? This is quite a lot, but it's not an abundance. With this amount of trends, it's more so that once we are in a trade, we can say, okay, like look, this is the a clear 15-minute descending trend. If we're in a trade, we need to at least try identify a place where we could move our stop loss to entry or something like that. Okay, so that's why the more obstacles we can visually show us with our trade, the easier we can actually manage those obstacles. All right, so I hope that explains it. Jalal, fair value gap again. So fair value gap, right? I essentially took, whenever you see a candle have a lot of momentum, okay, so like this one here, this I could instantly tell there was a FEG, all right? To easily identify it, you just take a gram box or even a fib, and that's fine. All right, price needs to at least fill 50 to 65% of that, all right? And we didn't. And then same thing with this candle over here, all right? See, it didn't fill. So instead of just putting, multiple fair value gaps, I took it from the recent touch below here, all right, and then all the way to this 50% mark. So that's how I got the fair value gap. Can you explain the TP at 1.618 again? So the TP at the 1.618, are you asking why we have a TP there? If so, the reason why we have a TP is because, the daily reversal point, which is the 1.618, if price breaks yes high, we could see price head to the 1.618. So that could be our final TP for the day, if we have obviously enough bullish momentum and volume pushing up to that side. Okay, thanks. Cool. What are your fib settings again? Let me just grab it here. There you go. So just copy that. That's my fib settings. You can customize it how you want, but I mainly just make sure that the 0.5 and 0.618, which is my golden zone, I make that orange. And then the reversal zones afterwards are green. But the rest I just keep simple. Cool. So to be honest, if price comes to our area, we still have 35 minutes until market open. But if price comes into our area and we get confirmation, I'll probably look for an entry early. It just all depends how price reacts in that area. So I think the pre-markup analysis is going to carry over till the live streams. Yeah, so far price is moving quite nicely. Price is moving quite nicely. Your SL is on the 50-minute trend, right? Yes, it's on the 50-minute trend. Ideally, we have our SL like something like this, but that's quite a big range, to be honest. It's quite a big range, but also we could get entries like over here, or even lower down. It just depends. But if we can get an entry at like 221, just say 310, we can move SL over here, 2330. So yeah, it's still a relatively large stop loss, but again, you just need to count your position size. Right, so with this trade, how much are you going to risk? You just need to make sure that you are risking, 0.5 or 1% or 2%, whatever you guys usually risk. If you guys enter the trade, it's completely up to you. Alright, so let's see what we get. I just need to log into my trading account quickly. Remind me your February tracement when joining for bullish. You start from top and pull down. Yes, correct. Correct. And then the opposite for bearish. What's up, Budo? Which trend line is the one just under the 15 minute? Is that, oh, it's a 1 hour mat? Yeah, 1 hour trend. So is your fib drawing from top to bottom something you have found that works for you? Is it opposite to retracement? Yeah, so it definitely, from my system, I purely bought it off that approach, but is it opposite to retracement? So if you are biased, right? If your bias is long, you draw your fib again from top to bottom. Once you drag your fib from top to bottom, you'll see that your golden zone will slightly shift. All right, so it's essentially 50% will always stay the same, but your golden zone will shift either between the 0.618 or the 0.32. So, but if your bias is long, all right, again, your 1.618 will be above your yes highs, which is exactly where you want it to be. Wonder why it's dropping so rapidly before New York Open. It's Nasdaq's giving us a chance, guys. It wants us to at least hit a TP today. So I think what Nasdaq is trying to do, it's trying to come into our zone, let us take an entry, and then with New York Open, the volume is just gonna straight TP. So I demand TP. So I assume that's what could be cooking. No. Sounds like a plan. That would be awesome. Could you show quickly where the 1 hour trend is starting? Sure. 100%. So that's the point over there. Oh no, sorry, I lied. This one here. There's just so many trends. This little bad guy. 757. Based on the potential setup, what would be the entry point SL and TP? Can't see on chart because it's blurry when I zoom in. Entry point, realistically, because of confluence, would probably be 21,325. All right. SL would probably be 21,240. TP1 would be yesterday's high, and then TP2 would be 1.618, which is 21,662. 4 p.m. red folder news of interest, do you reckon? Michigan consumer sentiment. What happened last time with the Michigan consumer sentiment? I remember like last time we traded it. But yeah, ideally we don't get completely stuck with that a position in there, or at least SL would be at entry at that point. But yeah, trading straight up with fundamentals is always a little bit sticky. And we said entry would be 21,330. 21. Alright, 5-minute time frame. Entry point is top of golden zone, right? Yeah, top of golden zone just because of the confluence. But again, we're waiting for confirmation on within that area. So the moment we see something like, like a hammer form or a premature morning star, then we look to get in. Now we just wait. So we have like 20 more minutes until market open. Let's see what happens. With the momentum, I was thinking that we would probably get an entry before New York Open. But yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get that. Minor question, Jamie. Do you take exactly the same approach with gold? Of late, I don't trade it, but would like to. I also, Phil, I also want to get back into gold, to be honest with you. So probably from next week, we'll dabble with gold too. But yes, if you guys ever did see me trade that 100, it should be on my YouTube. I have basically. Well, I did this challenge, right? So it was $100 to like 10K, but the challenge was essentially taking $100, trying to double it. I think it was doubling it, and then there afterwards, with that profit that you make, you purchase like a 10K account. But within that challenge, I recorded every single trade that I took, the losing trades and winning trades, and you can see that my system is essentially the same from back then till now. Those were the good old days. Yeah, so so Stembiso was there, right? And I had the same approach. Same golden zone. We mostly traded gold in that group, also a little bit of Nasdaq, but gold literally, I think gold was the majority, like the pair that we traded majority with, right, Stembiso? I think it was definitely gold. Yeah, we did almost all gold. Yeah, so I'll try to get the link so then you can see. But it was pretty cool. I did enjoy that because all of the trades were recorded, and it was nice to see just like the trades play out and all that jazz.
Hey, what's up?
So if you go, it'll be under lives. I'll get the link for you so that you can check it out. So, what platform do you execute trades on? Trade Locker. It depends on the platform what platforms they offer, but I hope and pray that they always have Trade Locker because it's my favorite platform to use. It's literally like taking TradingView and like putting trend in it. You know, it's just super performing. Can someone send S1TPs? We're not in yet. Waiting for yes. I was saying TO. So entry will differ, and so will SL. But TPs, I can send you TPs. TP1 would be 21454. TP2 would be 21660. So that's the TPs. In terms of entry and SR, it will differ. Which broker do you use, bro? Also Trade Locker? Oh no, so Trade Locker is just a platform. So it's like MetaTrader, right? So they supply the trading platform to brokers and prop firms. But in terms of brokers, I have a few that I use. It's the same thing with like crypto exchanges, right? You don't necessarily want to put everything in one basket. But in terms of brokerages, when I do trade my own funds, it's either XM. XM is really good, especially in SA, and then Next Trade. Only I have taken so many. Brilliant. What? Thanks for the link, Jamie. Only I have taken so many disappointments with it. What? With gold? Or what do you mean? But yeah, Jeza, I would say like brokerages are cool, right? But like definitely try leverage prop firms and then try build your own prop firm account with your own funds. You know, that's a goal for long term, right? To have like 100K, that's your own money. So yeah, and you know, quick way to get there is obviously through prop firms. Oh, with gold. Yeah. I don't know how to respond to that, bro. It's everything's been a little bit cooked at the moment. Like Nasdaq this week, extremely bullish. Gold, I haven't. Oh, here's it. Here, it is open. I don't know if this is a. Is this a new? Last week low. Don't. Let's actually, while we wait for market open, let's just also do like a quick little analysis for gold. I can't remember if this was an updated analysis. Okay, well, let's look at weekly. All right, so last week closed bullish, but the previous 2 weeks bearish. My bias, to be honest, because I've seen this, which challenge would take with Aqua? Two-step challenge, bro. 100% two-step. Yeah, so I would have been bullish, to be honest, but clearly how this week popped off, looks like bearish trades are definitely in the play for gold. For a first-time user, so Jeza, like the thing is, right? I always say anything that I recommend, take it with a pinch of salt. Okay, you need to obviously do your own research and stuff. If it's your first time trading prop firms, maybe first try understand like, okay, what is a prop firm? How do they work? How do they function? How do they make money? How will you benefit? All right, try to answer all those questions first, and then start looking at prop firms. Because the thing is, the prop firm space is so saturated, all right, that you have an abundance of decisions, okay, but you don't necessarily want, because you sport for choice, to go with the cheapest one or whatever. That could be a complete rug pull, right? So we'll go for pro or standard. Let me have a look at Aqua quick. But in terms of prop firm, like honestly, look at Aqua. Don't ever go for the sponsored stuff. All right, don't ever go for the sponsored stuff. Just click on the second one that's legit, because all the IDs with the sponsored stuff, you actually like using someone's promo. All right, so there's the link that I sent you. Obviously, has no promo. What's up, Dennis? So in terms of challenges, let's take a look. So I do two-step. Not interested right now. So let's just say for the smallest account, right? 5K. 5K will cost $20. Bro, like, do you know what I'm saying? $20 to kick off your trading journey is not bad at all. Like, a lot of you guys spend $20 just on, like, lunch or dinner or whatever. So that's not a bad, what's the name? It's not a bad, wait, is it $20? Oh, so the difference between the standard and the pro, right? So if you look, standard, maximum loss 8, 8, 8, all right? Pro, 10, 10, 10, okay? So with the pro, you have extra percentage, but less leverage. So with the standards 1 to 100, with pros 1 to 50. To be very honest with you, it depends which one would work more in your favor, right? A higher leverage or more leeway. For me personally, I would prefer a higher leverage. So pro has trailing drawdown. I don't see that on the thing. Oh, and they're also coming out with futures. Check. That's pretty sick as well. So if you guys want to trade features, they also just came out with futures as well. That's pretty sick. But yeah, I would probably go for like the standard, bro, just because of the leverage. Where's the challenges? So 5K, it's like $20, 100K, 322, 200K, 648. I just passed a 200K with them. Yeah. But yeah, always do your own research, bro. Like double check with prop firms. The thing that I like about Aqua is the rules are kind of in your favor, right? So you can you have decent and realistic profit targets, right? Decent and realistic maximum day loss, and same thing with maximum loss. But the one thing that I really like about them is you don't have a consistency rule. You can trade news. From my understanding, there's no trailing stop loss. But how do we use leverage? I never really looked into it. Tio, so essentially leverage is your positions are worth more in the market. just to summarize it. So your positions are worth more in the market. Check out propfirmmatch.com. They have discount codes from almost all prop firms, including Aquafund. Oh, sick. Yeah, well then check that out. You guys can probably grab some discount codes too. Is Trade Locker easy to implement copy trading? Plus, I see a lot of prop firms bitching about copy trading. A lot of them are not allowing. How would you recommend to scale this up if not with copy trading? Yeah, that's quite tricky, bro, because the thing with copy trading, a lot of people are using like EAs and stuff, right? So I'm not too sure. I think some prop firms are still quite chilled with copy trading, but I do know that they kind of narrowed it down in terms of like strictness. But what I would say is why. Okay, so firstly, okay, understand why you want to like copy trade just because you want one account. It's kind of mass management, right? Copy trading, but why in particular do you want to copy trade your prop firm accounts? So for me, I think copy trading is cool for mass management for sure, right? But you're not necessarily diversifying the risk. So the reason why I don't really like copy trading is, let's just say you have a bad week. So let's just say this week, right? This week has been a little bit dog shit, right? To be very honest. So that dog shit week is going to be reflected amongst all your accounts, right? All your accounts. So I would rather if all my accounts right now would be in like a 2.5% drawdown, that would absolutely suck. Yes, if you have a great week, you're obviously maximizing profits across the board with all your accounts. But I would rather diversify the risk. Make sure that it's something scalable but sustainable. So copy trading for me, like, it sounded very cool in the beginning. Like, imagine all your accounts, you're requesting payouts and all that. But realistically, if you do have a bad week, which is going to definitely happen, that's reflected amongst all your accounts, which won't be that great. Hello traders, how can we get this funded account? Hello traders, what do you mean how can we get this funded account? You're looking to purchase an account? Or how do we get your current account funded? If you find an answer, bro, let me know. Alright, so how many more minutes until 6 more minutes until market open? Oh, okay. Yes, I understand that, but in order to diversify, you would either need to create different trades at the same time, which is kind of difficult, or trading in a different account each day. If you have, for example, 5 accounts, you would do 1 account each day. So what if you have like 10 accounts? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So when I say diversification, right, I'm not necessarily saying that different trades across. Well, essentially it would be, right, different trades across all your accounts. But I'm just saying, like, your weekly result, all right, shouldn't necessarily be reflected in all of your accounts. Because if it is a negative week, then all of your accounts will, show up negative. So what I would do is, so this is my kind of strategy, right, with prop firms. So get an account, focus on passing that account and that account alone, all right? If you have capital, you can obviously maybe do an extra account, but I like to just lock in with one account, try get it passed, all right? But this is an example if you don't currently have a funded account. Okay, if you don't currently have a funded account, get an account, pass the challenge, all right? Make sure that once you funded, you don't try and aim for like the lottery, okay? Don't aim for like $1 million payout or $10,000 payout. Just make sure that you hit like a 0.1, 0.2% trade, just a small amount, just so that you can get your refund fee back, all right? Because that's the most important thing. Whatever you paid for the account, you need to make sure that you get that back, and then maybe a little bit on top, all right? And then some prop firms have a different processing time. So I think with Aqua, it's either 48 hours or a week, okay? 48 hours a week, I can't really remember. So within 48 hours a week, you're going to get your payout, okay? And then in that time while you wait, you work on another challenge, right? You work on another challenge. So then now you have a week until, and some prop firms are 2 weeks, eh? Some prop firms are like 2 weeks until you get your payout. But in that time, you're waiting to get paid out. You're busy working on your other account, all right? And then once you have two accounts, one would be funded, one would still be in the challenge phase. You trade them simultaneously, all right? So the goal for the first one, right, your funded account, is not necessarily taking it to the moon, okay? The best thing is get a little bit of percentage gain on your account, then withdraw, all right? Don't try like you 2% up, but you want to be 20% up, and now you're risking a little bit more, and then next thing you know, you actually negative on your account, right? Or maybe you lose your account. That would be the worst thing you do. So make sure that you just get a 1 or 2% return, withdraw that, and then once you withdraw that, you focus on your account again, right? And you just rinse and repeat that. So yeah, that's what I prefer to do, rather than mass trading all my accounts. This was trade yesterday. I took on your USD. It is a break and retest strategy. Nice, bro. Really good. Do you think we could risk more on eval than use normal risk on funded? Theo, so I would rather have the same kind of blueprint that you use for evaluation and funded, right? Because if you have one approach and then you switch into a different approach, your environment's completely different. Okay, so what I would do is have a set risk policy, right, with your evaluation in your funded account. So example would be your starting phase, right? Let's just say you purchase at 200K, you're starting at 200K. What are you risking off the bat, right? Obviously, it depends on the trade setup. Okay, you can't just say, I'm going to risk 1% or 0.5. It depends on the trade setup, okay? If it's a good trade setup, you're confident, I would typically go with 1%. All right, 1%. Once, it depends what happens, obviously, with that trade. If I hit a winning trade, I'm typically like 4% up, all right? So once I'm 4% up, the next trade, I risk 2%. Because the thing is, with usually my setups, I look for like, again, minimum is 124, 126, right? So if I'm risking 1%, I'm already gaining like a 2, 3, 4% gain, all right? And if I'm risking 2%, it's between like a 6 to 8% gain, right? So I maintain that throughout. Yeah, market's open. Let's see what we get. Stop loss will vary, so I'll let you guys know stop loss, but it will roughly be like 120 points. So 100 to 120 points. Do we execute when price tap zone, or wait? We wait for confirmation, so probably candle closure on the 5-minute, or 15-minute. But it just depends. If price is cooking on the 15 or 5, again, we'll enter prematurely based off what we see. So far this, like if we get a tap, it would be pretty good. But we just need to see if we're getting a bounce off our confluence zone. But remember, our golden zone goes all the way down to 21,286, eh? So let's just rather wait if we can get like a slightly deeper entry. How much are you risking on this trade, if I may ask? I'm risking 1%. 1%. Out of curiosity, right? Did any of you guys get into Pengu? When I think I mentioned it on like the crypto chat a while ago. Nope. I do have a lot of other ones. Okay, nice. Yeah, well, fuck. Like Pengu, since this whole tariff thing, since the recovery of the crypto market from tariffs, my Pengu's up 212%. So if you guys dig into Pengu at that time, obviously depending on what you put in, you would be pretty like disgustingly up on Pengu. I think Pengu, I can probably get like a 500 to 600x on Pengu. My whiff. 195, bro, that's crazy. Jamie, I've never traded futures, only CFDs. Is it relatively easy to make transition? I think it's I think futures, in my opinion, is slightly easier to trade. But yeah, that's coming from someone that obviously hasn't traded futures. I have friends that have transitioned from CFDs to futures, and they handled it really, really well. All right, so Nas on the 5 minute, okay, just tapped into that 200-day moving average. Let's see what's cooking on the 15. Some crazy candles. But let's see if we can tap into that fair value gap. All right, we're tapping into that fair value gap, our golden zone, all of these confluences over here. It could be a really, really nice trade. And that RR looks juicy as well. Like if we can get in just say roughly here, stop loss would be around so what's that? Are you trading with news at 4? For SA time? What's that? 2. So like 30 minutes. I'm going to enter for sure, but purely because with the platform that I use, I'm allowed to trade news. But ideally at that time, we at least have entry at SL. SL at entry. Can you type the name of that coin you were talking about, please? Pengu. Shard Ramon. But yeah, there's quite a few good ones. Like, I'll send a whole list. There's a bunch of like really, really good coins to get into. All right, so we tap into that 15-minute trend line. Also tap into the FEG. Also tapping into the last week 2.618. Respecting that trend really good. Let's just see. It's always nice just to see a little bit of a bounce, you know. It doesn't have to like shoot up completely, but just a little bit of a bounce is always nice to see. Alright, the deeper it goes, the happier I'll be, to be very, very honest. If we can tap into that 1 hour, deeper into the fair value gap and the golden zone, super happy with that. What is your strat, bro? I literally, it's hard for me to just like say, like everyone here knows, like if you ask me that question, we're going to be sitting here for like 2 hours because there's so many like variables that go into it. All right, so how that 1 minute closed is really, really good. We tap into FEG, we tap into golden zone, 1.618. That's essentially what we would like. Let's see the 5. Oh, that looks good. But Abiba, like I said, there's a course coming out into the group relatively soon. So in that course, we'll explain everything. Guys, how's that tap into that zone? Oh my gosh. How's that rejection? That rejection is crazy. Alright, next 5-minute candle in 10 seconds. Let's just hope we can get an entry. That would have been perfect. On the 1 minute though, we had that. This is kind of what I wanted to see on the 5. We got it on the 1. So the way the 5-minute candle closes is perfect, right? If we can get a tap into here, I'd probably look to enter, and I'll keep SL the same, like 100 pips. 100 points. Okay, let's just see. Just a little bit more. That's enough rejection. I'll go back down. Literally. Just tap into that zone. Okay, so tapped in to a 5. Will we get a retest on that trend? Okay, I'm looking to ideally enter on that retest of the trend, if not at least over here. Alright, so retest on the trend, looking to enter longs on NAS. Okay, I'm entering. Okay, I got my longs. I'll type entries and SLs and TPs now. Let me just modify this chart. So SL, like I said, we'll keep at 100 points. Yes, I just entered now. So entry 2 1 3 3 4 SL 2 1 2 4 7 TP1 2 1 4 5 4 TP3 2 1 6 6 0. Oh, sorry, TP3. There you go. Check maybe Stembiso. What's the name? US Tech 100. Maybe something like that. Two one 2 4 7. There you go. Yeah, NAS 100 US Tech, something like that. Right, so let's remove that guy. And then we do ground box. Just to see exactly what that 50 mark is. All right, so that's our setup, and we're in, and we do have news in 16 minutes. Let's hope that we can at least move SL to entry by that time. Crazy rejection though, on the golden zone. That first 5-minute candle absolutely gave us a show and a half. That was very, very nice. Now let's just hope it maintains. That 50% mark you just drew, is that the DL to BE mark? So SL. So SL, we'll probably move SL to entry, all right, once price breaks this 15-minute trend. I'd just like to know what the 50% mark of my trade range is. So once price breaks this 15-minute trend, closes above, I'll move SL to entry. Because then at that time, on the 5-minute time frame, we're at least playing above the 50-day moving average. And yeah, so here, just based on this 15-minute candle, right, that would be the imbalance. So this would be the imbalance of this 5-minute candle. So ideally, want price to continue surpassing this area, right? We don't want it to just fill and then continue going down, which we've seen happen. That happened to us, I think with DAX, that happened to us, right? Oh, this trade's juicy. Overrated. There we go, passing through that 50 mark zone, which is ideally what we want, but it's not necessarily enough. Let's just hope the bullish momentum continues from here. If you guys know why I said emotional damage, it's because of this guy. I just noticed Aquafunded only allows 3 days on a one step and D5 on a second to qualify. Is this normal? I just noticed Aquafunded only allows 3 days on a one step. So like a one step challenge, you have to pass in 3 days. I didn't look at their one step challenges at all, so I have no real idea. We can check quickly if you want. One step. Where's the details, like in-depth details? Instant funding is pretty crazy. You get instant funding on 200K, so you pay $875 for instant funding, which is pretty crazy. What? That's pretty nuts. Alright, that's what we want from Nasdaq, right? Exactly that. 5-minute candle closed above that FEG gap. Looks like price might continue going higher. This is my setup for today, and it's still going on my side. Nice, bro. A B bar. Very good. You smashing Euro USD, Well, earlier you sent a short as well, I think. Yeah. Nice. Very, very good. Overrated. Okay, 9 more minutes until Michigan consumer sentiment. Guys, if your prop firm obviously doesn't allow you to trade news, you know, I don't think you should probably be in this trade, or you should probably just exit now, to be honest. Because if it's a breach, then, you know, you don't want that. Do we put SR to BE before news? Ideally, it just depends where price is. By the grace of God, we hopefully can put SR at BE, which is, you know, where price playing above this trend, then for sure. But if like price is where it is now, almost indefinitely we're gonna get tapped out. Damn nice, bro. Very, very nice. Six more minutes until news. Let's see. My strategy is a 5-minute opening range break and retest on a 1-minute time frame. Do you ever look at S&P? No, I don't. It definitely works as confirmation though. When you hit first TP, how much we pull out. I'm closing 50% on my position at first TP. So 50% my position, then the remainder hold out till 1.618. But then if we get to the 0.5 mark, I'll probably move my SL to TP1. So if price does decide to come back to yes high, I'll essentially close out fully. So an offside is that double bottom at the edge of a range. On 50 minute looks like a morning star. This one over here. Oh, referring to a b-ball. Okay. Damn. It's just shot different to Garden. Why free asking for a friend? Yeah, it is pretty completely different. Well, like different, yes, but not completely. The main thing is I just have a lot more variables with my trade, so I look for more confluences. Why free? Because I haven't necessarily added, well, for me personally, I feel like I haven't necessarily added enough value to this group. So that's why I'm live streaming. That's why I'm working on a free course. Cause yeah, you know, if we just have this group and we just put announcements, there's no real like circulating value. So for me, it's just like, let me live stream, let me do pre-market analysis, let me work on a course. I wouldn't be able to live stream every single day, but you know, when I can, I will. And yeah, in your course, it will be a full breakdown of your strategy, right? Yes, full breakdown, and you also get like some crypto stuff too. No problem, bro. I'm good. How many? Okay, like 2 seconds until news. Let's see what cooks. Bro, I really look forward to coming here and live streaming training with you. It's a game changer. Thanks for you making. I appreciate you, bro. That means a lot to me. That really means a lot to me. Yeah, I enjoy trading with you guys. You know, like we probably average around like 30 to like maybe like 80 people. But yeah, trading in front of people and trading like setup is always scary, bro. I'm not gonna lie, you know. But I don't know if it can help you guys add some value, then why not? But yeah, regardless of like results and all that stuff, trading with you guys is really, really cool. First time trading through news, that was a little stressful. Yeah, bro. That's how I grabbed the drink. This isn't a protein shake. This is freaking like vodka and milk. Yeah, let's see how. If we can get a 5-minute closure above this little 5-minute range here, I would probably move SL to entry, guys. Someone arrest this man. Even taking out so much easier when, yeah, for sure, bro. Like, ideally, we just have a bunch of W's, but Yeah, L's are cool. I think I probably feel that L's a little bit more, because obviously it's like my trade setups and stuff, you know. So when we take a L, I'm not gonna lie, I like, in terms of like my trading account, I'm not affected, because you know, for me, I know it's part of the plan, but bro, it hits hard, eh? Like it's tough to take a L for you guys, like it's really tough. I'm not gonna lie. So even when I took it out yesterday and also with DAX, bro, I was a little bit down. You know, not down in terms of like my trading count, but like I was like, fuck. I really wanted to like, you know, have a W for these guys and stuff. It sucks, but you know, I can't. I have to be a realist. You know, I have to be a realist. Yeah, for sure, for sure. 100%, bro. But it's just like, you know, it would be so much cooler just to have W's with you guys. uh, like, we had a W the first trade, but, you know, yeah, ideally, like, instead of a W trade, I want like a W week. So, in a trade, yeah, we are in a trade. Right now is news, but price played out quite nicely with that fair value gap. 1 hour trend, golden zone, 15-minute trend. Last week's 2.618. Guys, we have so much confluence like in this area. That's why I kind of wanted to hold this position through news, but ideally we do move SL to entry pretty soon. All right, so the moment we tap above this trend or even touch it, SL to entry, and we just let Nasdaq take the wheel. The 200K count you just passed was all with these types of, yes, nothing different. Nah, nothing at all, bro. Same approach, but 95% on my trades that I took, it was Bitcoin. So I day traded Bitcoin, and then funny enough, the trade that actually made me pass my account was that Nasdaq trade that I took with you guys. I think the first week. But same setup, like exactly same setup, same approach, same analysis. I've been trading this way for like 3.5 years, but I fine tune it. Like now, it's pretty much where I want it to be. But for the past 3 years, I've been fine tuning it. We all accept that there are losses. It's gutsy and kind of you to be here and educating us. It's up to all of us to take back and endeavor. You are a good man. Thank you for. Oh, I appreciate you, bro. Bro, that's so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sulo57. Multiple trades per day. I was only trading twice a day. So I would have like a Bitcoin set up during London and then a Bitcoin set up for like New York. So yeah, maybe like maximum two trades a day. All right, guys. So the moment we tap into this descending 15-minute trend and also 50-day moving average, right? 50-day moving average on the 5. I want to move SL to entry just to play it a little bit safe. So we're almost there, but let's just hope we can get there without price coming back. I mean, we got a nice rejection here. The only thing I could see maybe on the 5-minute price retesting that trend again. But too many retests aren't great. Too many could mean an eventual break. Yeah, for sure. The thing is, like, typically I would say like the fourth touch, fourth plus, right? You would essentially get that break. Like especially with that 2.618 zone, like man, you know, we retested it. Obviously it's more now, but yesterday I think it was 5 times and it didn't break. You know, 5 times, and that was a lot. But typically, like after the third touch, so the fourth of the fifth, I would usually like plan for like a break of that zone. But it's respecting so far. Again, we need to combine what's happening in 5 and the 15, right? So that 5-minute candle is very, very whack. This 15-minute candle, obviously, it dipped below the previous 15 because of fundamentals with the Michigan sentiment. But it could surpass the previous 15, which is ideally what we wanted to do. And at that point, we should be able to move SL to entry. So it is playing out quite nicely. I just hope that we can get our TP. We'll probably for sure get our break even. Like we'll be able to go break even, but TP, we just need to make sure that the momentum carries on. Price action is just mental. Yeah, it is, bro. Alright, 40 seconds until the 5-minute closure. Let's see that 15. I really would like it to close bullish. So we still have additional 5 more minutes until this 15-minute candle ends. But I really, really want this candle to close bullish. Met that on the floor. Have you guys seen that question circulating the internet? 100 men versus 1 gorilla. What do you guys reckon? 100 men or 1 gorilla? Who you got? Who's your money on? 100 men? I believe 40 men. do them men have sticks? No, like bare, like knuckle, no armor, no clothes, just like 100 naked men and 1 gorilla, bro. Gorilla? 40 men would win. Gorilla for me. It actually depends. Can I pick my 100 men? That's a very valid question, Jake. No, you can't. You can't. Do the men know kung fu? No, they don't. Well, maybe some. I think. Let's just say like your average guy. Let's just say like 100 accountants versus 1 gorilla. Because some accountants are like jacked, some are gorilla wins. are the sword contents. Some of them, maybe 20%, so 20 men. Can the men wear gorilla costumes? That's a hack actually. You could get 100 lady men and it could lose. Gorillas ready to fight, the men would be intimidated. 100 men should have it. I feel like 100 men should. I don't know. I haven't. Let's. Gorilla, 40 men can't attack at the same time. Let's just search gorilla. Bruh. Oh no, fuck no. Yeah, you do some. Cheers a Bieber. No, but so I think like, if you have 100 oaks, right, the key is teamwork here. Teamwork and sacrifice. So I think like the first like 30 or 40 men, we have to sacrifice. It's shit, right? But like for the greater cause, right? So we have to sacrifice 30 or 40 guys first, okay? And then the rest just finish the job, do you know? So that should kind of tie out the gorilla. And then the limbs that you get from the 30 or 40 guys that we sacrifice, we can now use as weapons. No, that's. Yeah. No, I like the thing is I just I hope I get drafted for like the last batch of guys. Do you know what I'm saying? Because imagine knowing that you the front line. Like the first guy that has to go fucking try and fist the green. He's done for, bro. The first guy that has to try and fist the gorilla is done. Like no one will remember him. uh. Alright, yeah, but then the second, Jamie, you never looked at the DM, bro. I will look after this, I promise. I was down yesterday after that trade. Not gonna lie, bro. But I got you. I really hope it's that back pick. But then the second O checks the first O. Thanks, bros. Bro, like if it's like any guys that I know, right? You're just gonna fucking be shoving like your homie in front of the gorilla. Like, I don't think 30 or 40 oaks are gonna be willing to sacrifice themselves, bro. Definitely not. Okay, we have 77 people here, right, on the stream. Alright, so let's just say 77 people versus a gorilla. Alright. Out of the 77, who's the first front line? Right. I think, like, clearly all the people in the chat, right, the active people, like, you know, surely you gotta say here. Alright, so I'm thinking who's quiet? Anderson, haven't seen you chat, bro. Anderson's going in first for sure. Anderson, and then quite a few of you guys I've seen speak before. I'll pass. I'm 55. Can't handle this beast. I'll go first. I'll poke it in the eye. Now, Ramon, we need you, bro. Piss it off nicely for yolks. You low-key on the gorilla's side, just enticing them to like fuck us up or spare the woman in the chat, please. What about gender equality? All right. What about gender equality here? I'll kick it between the legs. Sorry, too old for that. I'm watching. I've sat with one. Trust me, no man will win. Crazy. I would love to see one. A swift shinton pulls an uppercut to the throat over into the gorilla down. DJB, you thought about this, huh? There was a lot of, you put a lot of thought into that one for sure. Woman for the bait. Someone has to video for YouTube. That's fair, bro. We can't sacrifice for what? At least for some views. I can do distraction move by running away hard. Come on, Tom. So scary, but very gentle unless it gets pissed off. Oh yeah, fuck. Can imagine. Nice move on the chart now. Yeah, I just saw now. So we just touched that descending 15-minute trend. Let's just see what's cooking on the 15. I wanted us to ideally move SL to entry at this point, right? So I just want to see how price is moving on the 5. I think we should get a break upside of that trend, to be honest. And then if it comes back to retest that trend, which is basically where our entry's at, I wouldn't want to do that. So guys, let's for Nasdaq, let's move our SL to entry now, right? It is very early, but we don't want more rejection. Well, more rejection and a possible reverse. So SL entry, I'll put it on the chart as well. And then while we wait, we can see who we're gonna sacrifice in this chat. I'm curious what Anna has to say. I can lift up to my body weight, so 60 kg only. Gorilla can run up to 1,000 kg. I will not even do any damage to him. Nice move on the chart. You get on my shoulders so we look bigger. You go for eyes, I go for the balls. What about bro code, bro? We were all gorillas at one stage of our lives. I mean, not present life, but maybe if you believe in reincarnation type shit. We were all gorillas. Imagine if you were the gorilla versus 100 men, and then the homie just says nah, fuck bro code, I'm kicking you in the balls. You'd be what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Lock in. Yes, SL entry, bro. Reason being is because if price rejects that trend and also comes back down to that 15-minute trend again, I wouldn't be super confident in holding buys. Mike Tyson once walked past a gorilla enclosure seeing a silverback bully the others. He tried to bribe the official to let him in to take... Is that true, bro? That's crazy. But then he loses to Jake Paul. That makes zero sense. Do you know what I'm saying? Come on. Imagine how fucked up our roster is going to be because we want to take this guy over Mike Tyson, bro. I back Jake Paul and Logan Paul for front line. 100%. Yeah, so price rejected that 50-day moving average on the 5-minute, 15-minute. playing above 200-day moving average at the bottom. We tapped that fair value gap, so we can close this now. Well, we can remove this. Let's see what it does. Jake Paul is the reason there's a steroid shortage. Silverbacks can jump 25 feet from standstill, seen it close up. That's crazy. You know, we don't need Jake Paul, bro. We got Coach Jake. We got freaking Coach Jake in the house, bro. They should do 100 girls versus Chuck Norris. Is Chuck Norris still alive? Like, I haven't seen anything from Chuck Norris. Not that he was active on socials, but like, it kind of was a disappearing meme, you know? Is the man still alive? He cannot die. That's fuck funny. BE, it was a crazy PA anyway. Good not to lose. Did you get BE, Dennis? Yeah, it looks like I might be coming to my BE as well. But I'm still holding this trade, still in. Bruce Lee forever, 100%, bro. Yeah, he's starring in the next Bruce Lee movie. Big man, Keys, what's up, bro? How you doing, brother? DJB. That's crazy. That is crazy. Damn. Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Have you guys ever seen that that movie? I think it was called Cocaine Bears, where like a bunch of like like wild bears inhale a fuck ton of cocaine and then become like super freaking aggressive. Has the crypto course dropped yet? Yeah, bro, it dropped this morning, but it was only like available for 30 minutes, and then we had to remove it. So you missed the shit there, bro. But nah, I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding, bro. The course should be out like pretty soon, under a week. Once it's out, there'll be a tab on the Discord where you guys can like access it and stuff. But I still have a couple modules to film, and then it still needs to go and get edited. But the editing shouldn't take long. Shout out, thanks, Jay. No stress, bro. Cocaine Bear is Conor McGregor's new alias. Fuck. Oh shit! I'll send a pic to the chat quick. Who of you guys recognize this guy? I saw him walking on the street, and I was shook, bro. I was literally shook. Let's see how many of you guys recognize this guy. So yeah, he was in Phuket. Let's see who knows who this guy is. Yes, sir. Crazy, bro. Like, I literally walked past him. I was like, no way. Is this... I was like, in what world are you here? Do you know why? And then it turns out he had like an event here with John Jones. I didn't see John Jones though. Fuck, if I saw John Jones, I would have shat my pants, bro. But yeah, he was here with John Jones. They did some event, and then I think it was like an interview or something. Nah, I'm good, bro. I was actually having a good day that day. So, how tall are you, bro? I'm 178 centimeters. But also, the flooring in Thailand's fucked up, bro. So, I as you can see by my foot stance, I'm slightly at like a um, little downhill, you know. And I also did legs that day, so my knees were sore. So, I'm not staying up straight type shit. Yeah, but he's sick, bro. I was like fangirling so badly because I was like, yo, Nate, take a pic. Can I take a pic? And then he was like all nonchalant and like, yeah, sure. And then he looked at me what I was doing. I was like this. And he was like, this guy's a fucking tool. And then he just put a fist up as well. Like, obviously, if I'm taking a picture with a freaking UFC fighter, like, I'm not gonna fucking go like this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, hands up, boy. Obviously. But I feel like because he took so many pics with Asians, like, everyone was just like this. Do you know? Not a lot of people actually knew who he was, though. It's quite interesting. Oh, looks like it's coming to our entry. It was your IG. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Did I get? I'm still in on my prop account. For some reason, I'm still in. Nope, got closed. Alright, so yeah, I got BE on this trade as well. Good thing, to be honest, like good thing we moved SL to entry. So I'm just gonna go over a quick recap with you guys, okay? On why we took this trade. So at the time we had fair value gaps over here from these. I think it was on the 15-minute time frame. Still in, not for long, I guess. Damn. Hopefully for long, bro. Hope for your sake. We had fair value gaps over here. Price filled them nicely, but the reason why we went in for longs, right, is because we had fair value gaps, 15-minute ascending trend, 1 hour ascending trend, golden zone, as well as last week's 2.618. You know, that's 5 reasons to enter a trade. Okay, 5 reasons. We saw rejection in our area, which was nice. Okay, but remember that although regardless if we have a lot of reasons to enter trade, we always need to have some form of exit strategy. Okay, and that's why we have obstacles above here. Okay, that's why we have obstacles. So who was it that asked about the 15-minute trend on top? I think it might have been Phil. Alright, so if Phil, I don't know if Phil's still here. But yeah, anyways, Phil asked about, why do we have a 15-minute trend on top? And that's, I see Phil typing. So that's a reason why, right? We have obstacles in front of us. Price wasn't too far away from our entry with that trend, but we saw rejection. Well, not rejection, we saw price tap that trend, and we prematurely assumed that, look, this could be rejection, let us move SL to BE in case it does reject and continues going down, right? And that's exactly what it's doing now. Any thoughts on the gold short? I didn't manage to do my analysis on gold, but I think I'm pretty much done for the week, guys. Yeah, I'm not going to for another trade, rather just plan for for next week, see how everything goes. I'll probably look at Bitcoin maybe tomorrow. I'll do a pre-market set up on Bitcoin, post on the live markup so that you guys can watch. But yeah, like, to be honest, not a disgusting week, but not a great week, because obviously, you know, we didn't necessarily come out on top of profits, or have like a crazy amazing trade, right? But you know, let's see what next week brings for us, and hopefully it's a good one. Will there be a Sunday pre-market? Yes, there will be a Sunday pre-market. Sunday, I think I'll try to do it the same time. And if you can't make it, it's fine. I'll make sure it's recorded. I did buy a mic today, so the audio should be crisp. And then for trades, I might not be able to go live on Monday. Maybe Monday, and then for pre-market on Tuesday, I might not be able to go live. Reason being is just because I'm finishing my leg sleeve in the morning, so I won't be able to do a pre-markup. If I can trade while getting tattooed, then I will. Then I'll come live and stuff. But I'll make sure I cover everything on Sunday for you guys. All right, cool, guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Let's see what next week brings. Hopefully it's a banging week. And yeah, be safe, guys. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye. Pre-market on weekends would start the same time as weekdays. And I'll put an event on for Sunday. For me, I'll try and make it at maybe lunchtime or nighttime, but I'm in Asia, so I'll set up the time so that you guys can see what time it is for you. Do the live tattoo. I can try. It's on my leg, so it'll be pretty sore, not gonna lie. Okay, cool, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, because I'm gonna do a pre-markup on Bitcoin, and then I'll see you Sunday as well. So I guess I'll chat to you guys tomorrow then. Cheers, guys. Bye.